Alright, I guess I could do a quick video comparing the Razer Onyx, the Sabertooth, and the Razer Wildcat real quick. So this is the middle brother, this is the baby brother, the Razer Wildcat, and this is the old dude right here. Started this one when Black Ops 1, loved it. Horrible, you already know the issue with the controllers. It was terrible as far as durability. You drop it once, it's done. And alright, so I'm just going to compare the controllers right here. So the first one didn't have any extra buttons. As you know, the Razer Wildcat and the Razer Sabertooth, they come with triggers. So that was the big upgrade right there. That was cool. Here, the triggers on this one are kind of like curved up and weird. They're good. I didn't have any complaints about that. But they went back with a different model on the Razer Sabertooth, and on the Wildcat they went back to like a more, you know, this is the Xbox One, same exact one as the Xbox One has. So, you know, they kept that whole design right there. But these were kind of ugly looking, but they were cool. I liked the D-pad on the Razer. The D-pad to me was cool. It came up a little bit. I guess it was more for like fighting games, stuff like that. It was open. I don't know why they changed that. On here, they kind of kept the same D-pad as the Razer Sabertooth as they did for the Razer Wildcat. So that's the two things that are the same. Mapping buttons, you just press that button here and you can see things light up and let you know which one is this. Only for these two triggers right there. Whereas on the Wildcat, it's like one button right here that this lights up white, and you go back between the two profiles there, and that's that simple. Whereas they were really sophisticated with the Sabertooth, it was digital. And you could like do everything, like you can control the sensitivity and do all that. So I don't understand why Razer, you know, they kind of took that apart. Like I think you can do all that via PC or something like that, but this one you could do everything right here on the controller. Like it was a digital screen, and it popped up and let you know whatever you were doing. So they got rid of that. Now, I don't like the triggers on the back on either controller. That was a fail to me, definitely. The looseness and the sticks, that is the biggest issue with the Xbox One controller, is the sticks are way too loose for my taste. And they're perfect on all three controllers, they're perfect, but I would say in the list, the best would be the Razer Onyx because it got the most play in it. You know, then it would be the Razer Sabertooth, and then last, like these are a little bit looser than the other two, but they're still better than the Xbox One original controller. So that's something they did differently. But of course you have your 3.5mm jack here, and obviously these were originally Xbox 360 controllers, so you have the smaller one here for the Xbox One 360 controllers. So that's obviously a noted change right there. They all feel good, they all feel lightweight. Of course this one is wired. They're all wired, what am I talking about? But these two, you can detach the wire. With the Razer Sabertooth, or Wildcat, my bad, this is confusing. They did make a little slot here so that like when you plug it in, it won't just pop right out. But if anything happens to that, we're gonna have to buy another one because no regular one will fit in here. So it's like weird. Like of course you want to be wired when you're playing some like a shooter, competitive gaming, but it would be cool. I was wondering why it isn't wireless. Why it doesn't have the option to be wireless? None of them do, but I just thought that it would. At $150, which is the most expensive out of all three. I think I paid like 60 something or 50 something for this one, and I think this one was, I ordered this one way too soon. It was 80 when it came out, but they were giving you $10 off if you already had previously bought an Onyx, but I had already ordered, so it was too late. So it goes 80, 50, and this one was 150, but it came to 160 something. It was like $13 shipping and handling to get it to me. Mechanical keys, buttons like Black Ops 1, panic knifing all day. Now one thing I noticed with this one is they fixed this, is these were just get beat down so easily. Like let me see it, these, like you see they're all wear and tear right there. And I was still using this controller up until I was using this actually for the Black Ops 3 beta for PS4 with my Cronius Max. So I was using this recently, even though I bought these controllers years ago. But and I use it for PC too when I do some PC gaming. But yeah, these like just get beat like to shit. Like they're just horrible. You could actually twist this and turn the tightness of the controller. So it's like they got rid of a lot of good stuff with the two. Where you could do the same thing with the Razer Sabertooth, but it was digital instead of manual. So here you could tighten and loosen the sticks which was a cool feature. I'm sure you can do the same thing with this one, but it's definitely going to be digital, not manual, or not like this one. It was digital, but you can do everything right here from the screen. That you possibly might have to go do like some software, download it to fix it or tighten it up that way. But you don't have the option to do it right offhand. This is probably the lightest one, even though it's wider, I think. Lighter. Yeah, obviously this one is heavier. And I will say this one is more durable as far as dropping it. It's heavier and it's more compact. You can still hear a little shakage, but I think these other ones are bad. Like you hear the mechanical keys shaking around and all that. And that's one of the beauties of these controllers, is the fact that they have the mechanical key. Like it's just, you tap the buttons. They're so soft. I did have to get used to it because I hadn't been using them. Like I had been using Xbox One to play on the Xbox One. I was using one of these on the PS4 for the beta, but I was pressing too hard when I first got this controller. Like I was pressing the buttons way too hard because I was used to doing that with this controller. Because if you remember the day one Xbox One controller, like the bumpers were terrible. Like the day one controller bumpers were horrible. Day two controller was better. So they fixed that a little bit, but you still got to kind of press them hard. Whereas, you know, it's just smooth, like boom, boom. Whereas if you did, like, you do that same boom, boom, you're not even pressing it. Boom, boom here. You're actually pressing it. Boom, boom here. Nothing happens. Or, like, you might get one out of, like, 4 bumps. So that's one thing I love about this one, is the smoothness of that. Same here. Actually, this is actually a lot smoother than these. How this one is. Yeah, these two are about the same. So, really, they made a lot of changes. The only change that they didn't make that they should have made, or they added trigger stops, which didn't have on either one of these controllers before. So this is Razer Wildcat is the first time they got trigger stops, but they kept the stupid paddles on the back, which is the reason why I might be getting rid of the controller, because the paddles just feel uncomfortable. Hate to do it to you, and I've been a fanboy all along for the Razer controllers, but we got to move over to this one. I actually picked this up used for $100 off of Facebook, but we're gonna talk about that later. We'll talk about that in a different video. But that's how paddles should be on the back. As you see, I counter corner mine. I don't have it so I can, you know, fail, and I play a lot loose. Now I will say that, you know, it's heavier controller and all that, much durable and all that, but everything inside of here is the same as inside the other ones, these two. So it's nothing new. There's no mechanical buttons, nothing like that. So it's nothing. The internals are exactly the same, and it's a little bit heavier. And I will say I did have like some hand fatigue from this. The controller feels awkward, and playing a little bit looser because I'm trying not to hit these all the time. That does happen, but I'll talk about that later when I do my review of this controller. But pretty much that's it. The plus is, oh yeah, that's what they did. They fixed, as I said before, these were all piece of trash and they would wear out and you couldn't replace them. They fixed that. Of course, you don't see them on the Razer Sabertooth because these probably, I think these you could replace them, but these came off on a Sabertooth, and that's like I can't play without these on here actually anymore. As you see on my one, I actually got these on here because if you take it off, it's still little. Can't play with that. It's too little. You get way less control, and the sticks are too loose, so that gives you more control over the sticks. These are just here because I don't want to have the white sticks. Like I don't use these, are way too big to be using. They're just here because I don't want this, like the white sticks to just be showing out. I even have a pair on the PlayStation, dumbed out. But there. That's the video. That's the evolution of the Razer Anzas, the Razer Sabertooth, and the Razer Wildcat. There's a lot of changes they made to both. There were times when I thought, like, you know, why did they put the buttons up here with the Razer Anza? But, you know, sometimes I would go back and play certain games, and it just fit for certain games, and it was cool. The Razer Sabertooth, it was a good controller and all that. They got rid of being able to physically tighten stuff and do all that, but they made it digital where you could do all that digitally right from the controller. They don't give you the option. There's no screen or nothing like there to do that on here, so it's like whatever. I would hope you can do that though. Like I didn't look into that because, you know, I haven't touched this since I, you know, got this. But yeah, I even went into like the Xbox app where you can control. You can still do the remapping and all that stuff, but tightening and making sticks tighter and all that, like I didn't see options for all that. So you might not be able to do that, but so I don't know. Control your volume, all the stuff. Again, as far as the sound goes, all this is pointless because, you know, plugging a wired headset with a 9mm jack that has no power to it, it's not gonna get enough juice to your controller. So again, that's just, it's good to have, but it's pointless. Like, it's not needed. But again, still, even though I think I might be done with the Razer brand for a minute, I still think it's the most comfortable. They're the most comfortable controllers ever. Like, to me, they're the best as far as when they work, when you use them. As far as durability, no, as I talked about in my review of this controller, trigger stops, boom, that happened, broke out, and this is the reason why I'm sending this controller back, because, you know, it works fine, period, and all that. I just can't use the trigger stop, but it's like, that's the whole issue, is like the principle, the fact that, you know, it happened. Like, I don't like the fact that it broke, even though I did pull on it hard and all that, but it is what it is. Trigger stops is weird to me. Like, I don't think there is needed as people think. Like, if anything, when I play, as you see on here, here's the original controller, but I have scuff grips on it, and these have trigger stops. These are the ones with the trigger stops in it, and it's like, it feels foreign having both of them on. It definitely feels weird having both of them on. I could do trigger, I can do shoot, but I can't do aim because it just feels like I'm going against nature or whatever, trying to do that. But that's pretty much it. What is that, 11-minute video? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It is, I give it a 8 out of 10. They lose 2 points. I'm not even gonna include that, but I'm saying they lose points just for going with triggers instead of going with paddles. I don't know why they did that. Like, it's just, it does not feel right. It does not make sense. They should have, you know, switched it up a little bit. And I don't know. That's just my video, my review, or my compare and contrast between all three controllers. Again, I love them. I have all three of them. People love the Xbox 360 original controller. No, I don't. I didn't have any finger fatigue, any hand fatigue. I could play for hours with no problems. I can't do that with any of these other controllers. With the original Xbox One, the 360, whatever, they feel great in the hands. You don't have to press the buttons hard. They're very responsive. It would have been cool if Microsoft would have, you know, went with some mechanical buttons on their Elite controller, but they didn't. But that's my video. Razer out. Razer, if you make another controller, don't put triggers at the bottom of it. Put paddles. That's where we're at right now. Or even put buttons. Just don't put triggers. It just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. Gosh. We did our research and we know that this is the best fit. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Like, that's, you know, the whole point. I can't use those and play. And that's the whole point of having a $150 controller, is to use those. I'm out.